What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. Thanks for stopping in. We are working on a 1987 Mazda RX7. It is getting difficult to remember all these different vehicles that are around in the years and stuff, but it is tucked away right now. In episode 1, we set the motor and transmission in the bay, and we have it all kind of propped up. But we need to get it dragged back out of there so we can get the motor mounts fabbed up. And then we need to get it put in the air and see what we need for metal to make the transmission cross members so I can go get that in the morning. And then it will be fully mounted into the car. So let's get into it. All right, we got the car moved, and first things first, I put a jack under it. I pulled the block out from it because I wanted to see where that dimple in the oil pan would line up. And it would probably work if I pulled the motor forward. I could set it down lower. But I'm going to run with the motor as far back as I can get it and still get access to the bolts if I need them. Before we set it down, I'm going to trade out the plywood for this steel plate, which is like one layer thinner than this plywood. I don't know what that is. 3/16 maybe? No, 5/16? I don't know. I'm bad at guessing. But I also had to grab the angle finder so I can make sure that the motor is sitting at 0. I got started on the motor mount here. I just got me a piece of cardboard cut, and I'm going to start using my CAD program. I don't have a big fancy CAD program on a computer. I got cardboard art design, so I'm just gonna start cutting it and fitting it until I like it. All right, so before I wrap up for tonight and jump back into this in the morning, let's go over what we got. So we got our pieces that we were just gonna have to cut out and make work before we could get the sides done. And then the one side accidentally worked out, but I was holding it on the front side of the mount and realized if I added an inch, it would accidentally work out. So now I have 2 pieces that accidentally worked out. I know it seems like a lot to follow right now, but it's not gonna be that bad. And if these do turn out, I will be selling these at way cheaper than anybody else on the market because I think it is absolutely ridiculous how much these companies charge. All right, it is the next morning. What is going on? We are working on these motor mounts once again. I had to do just a little bit of trimming. I got the bottom plate cut out, and now I got it in the car, so I'm going to show you what I'm working on, and I will explain what's going on. We got our upright bent and made and tacked into place to our bottom plate. We're going to go to the bottom side of the car and mark the hole. After we get the hole marked, we will have to figure out how we are going to mark this one so we can drill it and then tack it down into place. We went ahead and got the lower hole drilled, and we got it bolted into place. And this is the type of thing I was trying to achieve, but it does take a lot of extra time. All right, so we have one rough outline of a motor mount to an RX7. It don't look like it's gonna do a whole lot. I get it. But hear me out. I learned how trophy trucks and Baja trucks support their control arms and their spindles, and they're all handmade, TIG welded up. But I'm gonna do that into this piece. So there's gonna be X braces and up and downs and pluses and all kinds of shit in here to give it the strength that it needs to support a 800-pound motor. You guys already know we are back on our CAD program here, and we got a front piece and a back piece traced out. That will be our cap for the motor mount. And this little fancy drawing right here, ignore this line. I didn't have this out of the way of this piece when I was drawing it. But this fancy drawing right here is going to help us with our little skeleton that we are going to put inside this piece. Now, it is not going to be the easiest to weld this in, so I'm going to build it and then slide it in place, hopefully, and then weld the bottom and the top as much as I can get it, and we should be good. But rather than boring you with all this nonsense, how about we just go with all the webbing and everything in place now, we should be able to put it in the car and continue our build onto the other side. And then later in our build, we'll take these back out when the motor's got to come back out, and we'll box in both sides of it, and you'll never know that that webbing is in there for support. All right, so I have wanted to give up for a couple hours now, but it is fully mounted in the car minus the transmission. It's still hanging from the ratchet strap. We got a passenger side done. And the driver's side pretty much done. Got to box it in. Everything lined up super good. I got the wood and the little shim out. I got the jack out. I got everything out of the car now. So I'm gonna flip you guys around. I'll show you the front view of it and drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you would have done different. Let me know how you would have did it. The one side got way extra braced compared to the other side, but the other side doesn't have near as much to go over and around, so it don't need quite as much structure in it, but I'm gonna show you. So looking at the mounts, you can see that the driver's side one clearly goes way back in farther, but our angle gauge is at 0 degrees, which is what I was going for, and it seems to be fairly sturdy in there. The next problem that we may or may not run into is the oil pan. It got a little bit closer once we came down off the blocks. But if that becomes an issue, we will put a 1/8 inch spacer on the block or on the bottom side of the motor mounts to pick it up another 1/8 inch. That is the least of the worries. I'm more happy and relieved that it's in the car now, and it looks good. The suspension supporting it, everything is working out so far pretty good.